Today's video is to show how to most easily light the Ecco Stove. What we're going to do is go through the full initial lighting process and then leave the stove to do what it does. Please don't ever clean out the fire chamber to spick and span. There's lots of ash in there at the moment. Ash is good because it gives a heart to the combustion, but initially, before you light up, just rake a little bit out at the front there so that air can come in from the ash can when it's opened. Start of season, stone cold stove, stone cold flue, firelighter in one or both of the flue gas channels. If it's particularly cold chimney, both of the flue gas channels, just a piece of firelighter lit to ensure that the flue gas channels that run through the stove, and there are 6 meters worth of flue gas channels to be pre-warmed, are warm enough that they'll suck, have convection created off the fire chamber to ensure that the smoke exits the stove. On the scales there is 7 kilos of wood. That is enough wood to charge this particular model up to full working temperature, 7 to 10 kilos for the next 12 hours worth of heating. Firelighter's been running now for approximately a minute or so. We'll give it a little more time to pre-warm the channels because we need to get this mass up to some sort of temperature that the chimney will draw. Wipe any minor dirt off the inside of the door because any fly ash, grey ash on the door is abrasive, and any deposits in the firebox, in the fire chamber, will stick to it on initial lighting. Laying the fire, we'll use firelighters. Obviously you can use small kindling, you can use any amount of whatever material you want to light the fire with, but for me firelighters are very easy, they're very quick. A couple of bits of small wood at the start of your first cold burn, and bearing in mind when we are running with a hot fire chamber 24/7, then you can start with just split logs rather than smaller kindling. Load the fire chamber to the back as far as possible, but put as much fuel as you can sensibly onto the stove so that you don't have to open the door when it's getting up to temperature, because opening the door on a cold stove until it's heated up all of the channels may allow smoke to creep out of the door. Light with some form of spill, taper, whatever helps you to get there. Bearing in mind we have a cold stove at the moment, so nobody's going to burn their hands. Close up the main glass door, all but a slight crack to let some air in through the glass door. I've just got my finger running down the inside of the crack. You see the handle's not completely locked at the moment. Purpose is that puts a wash of air inside the glass so the glass won't dirty up when you've a cold stove, cold glass, cold everything. Firelighter now, it's pretty well done its job. You can see that there's smoke, whether the camera's picking that up, rolling around inside the firebox, but not spilling out of the door. So that firelighter now, rather than you trying to retrieve it, can simply be pushed in. But bearing in mind, there'll only be one firelighter in there at the start of the year, simply because once the stove's warmed up, then we don't need to go through that operation again. When the stove is started from stone cold, there will be some condensates gather on the inside of the door glass. Those condensates will end up as streaky black deposits if they're not wiped off. So open the door very gently, never pull the door open, let some air go past the fire chamber so you're not sucking smoke out of the fire chamber, because the door is a big vacuum when it's opened too quickly. So just a wipe over the inside of the door to wipe off any deposits that might build up. Door then again just ajar. When all of that mass is warmed, smoke will not spill from this stove. It's all being sucked through the channels and out through the chimney. if the fire was sluggish, if it wasn't pulling, I would then be inclined to open the ash pan, just 2 millimeters. Can you just see where my thumb is there? That's 2 millimeters worth of ash pan open, no more. If you open it too far, you'll pressurize the firebox and you'll have smoke squirt out somewhere. So 2 millimeters open, and at that stage, if it's still not drawing particularly well, you could close the door and then the proper operation of the stove takes over, e.g. air underneath the fire chamber, up through the grate, and now the flames are pulling away really fast. So the stove is working as it should do. We're now 50 minutes from the initial firing and we're up to about 140 degrees. When the rest of that 7 kilos is burnt out, we'll be at our 200 degree top of best temperature. Top of best 200 degrees gives the appliance far more push or drive to move energy around the property. At 150 degrees, which is bottom of best, you'll get only half the amount of push than if you take it up to top of best. You'll get twice the energy push around the property. It's important to get it to top of best.